when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately: Sean Carter.
If you just finished watching 50 Cent's Diddy documentary on Netflix, one detail probably stood out immediately. Jay-Z is completely absent. Not a single photo, mention, interview clip, or archival appearance shows up anywhere. That omission feels especially odd given how closely connected Jay-Z and Diddy were for years, with countless public appearances and well-documented industry ties. The more you think about it, the stranger it becomes. According to multiple industry insiders, this wasn't an accident. Sources claim Netflix removed an entire segment from episode 4 at the last possible moment. That deleted section was allegedly referred to internally as the Jay-Z tapes. Insiders say 50 Cent pushed hard to keep the material in the final cut, arguing it was essential context. Ultimately, however, Netflix reportedly stepped in.
Coming out, I know next year is going to be a number 2. Season 2.
I just put it on YouTube.
I just put it on YouTube.
I've just uploaded it to YouTube. What we're hearing now is that the segment was pulled after federal investigators reportedly took interest in evidence 50 Cent gathered and may be weighing a broader probe into Jay-Z over alleged misconduct, according to multiple industry sources familiar with the matter.
Everybody that is said, and Desiree Perez, all them people got dirt under them, bro. You understand? All them people got dirt on their fingernails. Jay-Z got dirt in his fingernails. You understand? Jay-Z was messing with young girls from our block. Tyra knew. I'm putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm picking a side. Desiree, husband, was a former dealer. And she turned on a whole cartel. All of them got dirt on them. And 50 got their dirt. You understand? 50 gonna know they dirt. Because 50 got investigators, he got people that's in the street. So if they go at him, listen here, I deem him like myself, 10 times the normal man. He gonna do what he gotta do. And the whole thing about it is they trying to retaliate on him for something he did to somebody else. I feel that it's something worth seeing. It's something worth coming around, because all that shit about to fall. All that we seen in the industry, these demons want to have sex and turn little boys into little girls into little boys. That shit's about to go out the window, bro. And we need to start speaking up and talking about it. We need to stop all this crazy stuff. We need people to put people out here that's doing like this, that's taking from people's families, that's beating women, that's beating women. I ain't got a problem with it. Let's go to war.
What makes this impossible to ignore is how everyone else was treated in the documentary. Other major figures were named. Lawsuits came up, allegations were discussed, and careers were closely examined. Jay-Z, however, wasn't merely minimized. He was completely erased. When one of the most powerful figures linked to the story avoids all scrutiny while others don't, that doesn't look accidental. It looks like damage control. To understand why his absence matters, you have to look at his history with Diddy. Despite later comments downplaying their ties, multiple insiders from Diddy's inner circle have said the two were extremely close for years.
They were so close that they had matching white girls together. Because when they used to see each other, they used to say, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? He'd be like, yo, how your skinny white girl doing? So, I guess that's a certain type of closeness.
I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know about
Come on, man. Everybody's seen that. 50 even pointed it out. Excuse me. When they was in ATL on stage. Remember when 50 bum rushed the stage with them?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
When Puff came on stage, first thing he did was pat Jay-Z on that. But I forgot. That's your favorite rapper.
And then Pac is 1A1B. But what's your issue with Jay, man? I didn't know you had an issue with.
I'm never a fan of somebody that I was gonna knock out. And then we was at the, it was me, him, Ashley Kushner, Puff and them. We was all at the next game together, and he didn't even remember none of it. And I don't expect him to remember, but I remember. You understand? And he told Puff, he said, yo, Puff, yo, I heard about that nigga Gene right there. That nigga Gene got a mean left. Oh, you said that nigga Gene a knock a nigga out. Then he gonna come up to me and say, man, you look like, man, you a turn nigga ass up. And I said to himself, I said, yo, no Diddy. Pause. Whatever. I said, he don't even remember. I was about to knock him the F out. He didn't even remember. He said to me, to Laura. That's how these guys are, man. They'll cause situations and cause problems, and then they'll forget what they've done because they on a whole nother atmosphere.
This wasn't just business or music, according to insiders. They describe a deep personal and professional bond. When Diddy started facing serious legal pressure, Jay-Z's legal team quickly issued statements distancing him. Former insiders pushed back immediately, saying that version didn't reflect reality. Those who were present insist the public narrative never matched what actually happened behind closed doors.
Also come with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like
Right. To us, right?
I had to be there.
We getting tighter. You know what I'm saying? And united we stand. And ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah. Just the billionaire brunch, like,
I hate you, man.
unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you just this year.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
According to sources familiar with the situation, the removed segment of episode 4 was meant to examine long-running allegations tied to Jay-Z's private life, sealed legal settlements, and strict confidentiality clauses. These claims have circulated for years, yet have never been explored in depth on a major streaming platform before now.
Relationship and the camaraderie between the Jigga Man and the Diddler. Okay? These are two people that have been working in concert, collaborating and competing. These are people that have been covering each other's secrets for decades. That's why I say to sit there and to just make Diddy the acceptable monster and not address his greatest collaborator in all of his business dealings it's a miscarriage of justice. Because what you're doing is you're leaving the other half of this two-headed monster out on the street to still be able to do what they do. While this one looks like he's down. This is a man who pow-powed his own brother and somehow walked away from that instance, got involved in the street trade, and somehow everyone else went to jail except for him. He's been making deals with the government and with the feds for quite some time. If none of this is real, how does the CEO of his record conglomerate Rock Nation, how is she a known federal informant whose background is transferring on multiple levels? Desiree Perez is one of the most despicable human beings to ever walk the face of this earth. And I'm not saying allegedly. I know that about you, man. I know about all your business dealings in Laredo. I know about all your business dealings in Guadalajara. And I know about who you know in Sinaloa. Why is a woman who's had this much engagement with the Mexican cartels running a rat conglomerate? That makes no sense. And she is a chartered government informant. What it sounds like to me is that the government found a very, very, very successful way to control and manipulate hip-hop by allowing their top agents to run everything and keep the independent jail system going, because a lot of these rappers are also heavily invested in the jails that most of these rappers go to. It's a bigger business.
You have to show damages to really win defamation as well.
Absolutely.
Is that just part of the legal plan?
They're not going to do that against me. Because if they do that, then they have to explain how I know what I know. See, the truth is I've had them at check for 2 years. Checkmate is coming. I promise you. There's no vindication for me, because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
Another significant portion of the removed footage reportedly examined how young artists were treated and managed within the industry.
Finally gonna have a real conversation about whether or not Rihanna was trafficked. To Def Jam.
She was an innocent baby when she came over here.
She was 14 going on 15 years old. Flown over without parental supervision in a private plane by a man who was supposed to be a producer, who auditioned her at 3 a.m. in a hotel room. Auditioning at 3 a.m. in the morning. 14-year-old girl.
With no parental consent.
Nobody. She was flown to another country. She was taken to Def Jam headquarters. She was left in a conference room alone with Sean Carter for nearly 6 hours alone, with no parental supervision. Father was blown up separately. She was 14 and a half, going on 15. She's about 16 when Ponder Replay came out, wasn't she? Her father collected a $500,000 check. She has the fastest ink deal in Def Jam history.
How did they get Rihanna from Barbados to New York City? Rihanna so quick.
Like that. On a private plane.
Yeah.
So, just said that.
If people knew how many of these girls are transported around on private planes, how they're able to redact, change names on manifest, she wouldn't have needed parental consent or a passport if she got on a private plane on the manifest listed as someone else. They only worry about the body count. They're not checking IDs at the tarmac. They're trusting whoever's bringing them on is doing everything above board. Those girls were transported, models just like that.
These stories have circulated for decades, but what's changed now is the scope of scrutiny. Investigators are reportedly examining how power, money, and enforced silence work together inside the industry. That's where comparisons to R. Kelly become impossible to ignore. For years, many in music privately acknowledged concerns about him. Long before trials or documentaries, executives and artists quietly kept their distance, avoiding any public association. Dame Dash, Jay-Z's former business partner, has said openly that he wanted nothing to do with R. Kelly, refusing to work with him or have his business connected in any way. Others followed that approach. Jay-Z, however, did not publicly distance himself at the time. Instead, he collaborated extensively, releasing full albums with R. Kelly. That contrast is now being revisited as investigators reassess who knew what, when they knew it, and how decisions were made behind the scenes.
Was you and R. Kelly ever cool at any point?
Why? He's an R&B. I'm not an R&B. No disrespect to R&B, because I'm cool with Tyrese. But we have these things, like sometimes I'll be like, that's that R&B shit you doing. You know what I mean? I'm not R&B nigga like that. I wasn't hanging out with no R&B nigga. I just couldn't. I think the fact that Jay was fucking with him is what used to blow my mind more than anything. Like, I don't know why he wants to with this guy so much. Like, why? I just never understood it. So I think it was just more me feeling awkward about the fact that I had to be around him on some level. But I wasn't around him. Like, I never was around him. Like, even when they, that not guilty, I wasn't, like, I came for the video, I was out. I wasn't a guy, and I think, like, we took pride, at least I did, and my crew, in not hanging out with famous people or famous men. Like, if you was gonna be famous, you had to be a female. But I wasn't trying to be up under no other famous dudes. I didn't think that was, like, I'm not gonna hang out with you just because you're famous. And I don't like dudes that much. So I was like, why would I? I have no reason. What I'm gonna do, go to the studio and hang out with him? Like, I don't do that.
Did Jay know about what you did to Aaliyah?
Did he know that everybody knew R. Kelly married Aaliyah at 15? Everybody knew. So was the conversation had, like, yo, how you gonna go and do something with this dude? Hell yeah, that conversation was had.
Dame Dash later dated Aaliyah when she was already an adult. That has led some people to ask difficult questions. Where was Jay-Z during the earlier years? And why did he remain closely associated with R. Kelly while many others distanced themselves? Was it purely business or shared industry circles?
Like, yo, how you gonna do a project with my fucking girl? We had the conversation. Why would you still with someone that raped your girl? Would you still do anything with that person? So why would anyone expect me to? But that's what I don't understand. I'd be like, yo, people be like, why? Well, just that alone. There's a lot of other, but that alone was like the nail in the coffin for me. I was out of there. I was gone. Trust me. After that, I don't want to be nowhere near. I knew that shit was gonna blow up. I didn't want no parts of that shit. Like, I was like, I don't want no parts. That's not good money. So I was done with him for that.
How did Jay respond?
You know how he is. It's like, oh, I got nothing to do with that. What I would love is for someone to ask him, like, yo, why would you still do a project with that man, knowing that he was gonna leave? That should be the question. Period. It shouldn't be for me. It should be the question posed to him. I don't give a fuck about nothing else. But that right there was bridge burnt. But I just was like respecting her, respecting the business. But I was I moved out of Rock. Like, if y'all look at, like, I left Rockefeller. It wasn't that I got kicked out of Rockefeller. I left Rockefeller. You understand what I'm saying? The option was there for me to stay. I did not want no parts of it. I was done. I left Rockware. Think about it, bro. I said, all the money, I'm out. Now think about a lot of men would not have made that choice. But any real man would have to make that choice. I was left no choice. He gave me an offer I could not refuse. And we done. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna put this man, you with my girl, You was in love with her. How could you do that? It's obviously you want me to feel away. Like it wasn't enough money for us to do that. So I was done.
This is where Jaguar Wright re-enters the story. She has spoken out for years, saying that once she learned what allegedly happened behind the scenes in the music industry, particularly around Aaliyah, she couldn't stay silent. Wright claims she faced pressure to sign strict confidentiality agreements and says fear, leverage, and industry power were used to keep her quiet, according to her public interviews and statements.
Time for Aaliyah Dana Harden's death to be properly investigated.
The official account says Aaliyah died in a tragic plane crash in 2001. Over the years, many theories have emerged. Some see it as a devastating accident, while others believe questions remain unanswered. Jaguar Wright has publicly stated she does not believe it was coincidence and claims it was premeditated.
Sitting in a taxi as her team and the flight crew argued nearby about whether or not to take off, and she complained of having a headache. Now, reportedly, a baggage handler nearby said that someone from her entourage gave her a pill. She took the pill, and that right after she fell into a very deep sleep. So deep, in fact, that she was carried onto the airplane still asleep, and may not have even been aware that she was on the airplane. Now, we should say we don't know what that pill was. It could have been aspirin. Maybe she was just very tired from a long video shoot. And the baggage handler did say that she took it willingly. But it does reveal some new information about those final moments.
To the crash, investigators determined the small plane was carrying about 700 pounds over its limit, and it's important, center of gravity was too far back in the aircraft.
The pilot did not want to make this trip, and he reportedly argued with Aaliyah's team because he thought that it was unsafe. So he did make those calculations, and he did decide that it was unsafe. However, after protracted negotiation, they went through with that flight. Now, we did also learn some new things about this pilot. According to autopsy results, he had both alcohol and cocaine in his system.
The pilot
did.
Whoa.
He was not the authorized pilot for that plane, and he had just joined that company a few days prior to that flight. So he was very new with that company.
So Jaguar Wright alleges that the deaths of Aaliyah and other popular artists in the music industry is a bigger scheme and something else is behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and roll you guys this clip of everything that Jaguar Wright had to say, and you guys let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
But Aaliyah, why haven't we demanded more answers? All this time, everyone is to agree that something's rotten in Denmark.
Yeah.
With that, everyone says it, even in the news reports, and yet no one has said it's time to talk to Hype Williams about why he didn't want Aaliyah to get on Lenny Kravitz's very, very, very wonderful and safe plane to get on the janky one that he forced her on, which, by the way, she didn't get on willingly. She was carried. Why did no one ask Hype?
Before her death, it's clear that Aaliyah was asserting her independence, making her own decisions, carving out her path, and gradually distancing herself from certain individuals and influences within the music industry.
Its life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming. And the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think, and maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brands?
Here's where things get even more complicated. If Diddy truly possesses recordings or other information connected to people close to Jay-Z, it could explain why Jay-Z can't fully distance himself now, even amid the mounting legal scrutiny surrounding Diddy. When one person holds potentially damaging material on another, it creates significant leverage. And it doesn't stop with just one individual. The complexity of Diddy and Jay-Z's connection runs deep, so intertwined that if investigations into Tupac and Biggie's deaths were reopened, both could potentially be drawn into court over their roles. According to Gene Deal, Jay-Z and Diddy were operating with a shared objective. He alleges they were given what he calls an assignment, one designed to prevent East Coast rap from regaining dominance in the industry, shaping not just music but power dynamics across the scene.
Z and Puff was given an assignment, and that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna be like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother, is that New York rappers was getting 800 to 1.2 million, or something larger than that, and to sign with labels back then. And they was getting a lot of money to make albums and records. When they had guys down south that these labels was paying $250,000, $300,000 on record deals, and these guys was bringing back platinum albums and everything like that. So what they had to do was, they had to keep New York rappers down. That's one reason, other than the Irv Gotti shit that 50 was going through and the poison they was putting in about 50, he had to go elsewhere to California or with Jay and not with Dre and Eminem to get a deal. They did not want East Coast rappers to get big. They were suppressing all new artists that was coming out of New York. Jay and Diddy was doing that. That's why when I heard your story, because I knew this for a long time, but when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up. Because him and Diddy was giving that deal, we gotta keep these East Coast rappers down.
Then, according to Gene, something changed.
And then, along came a somebody. They was about to bring East Coast rap back. And there's nothing they could do about it. And this kid was finna put East Coast on the map, just like Big did. And this was after 50. And that was Papa Smoke. Pop Smoke. That was Pop Smoke. Let me just tell you something, man. 2 weeks before Pop Smoke died, K. Slay, who heard this shit from the industry, that no shit that happens in the industry, set Pop Smoke and his people down and gave them a jewel. He said, y'all gonna have to protect him with his life, with y'all life. Y'all gonna have to protect him with y'all life. Cause he know Pop Smoke was about to bring rap back to the East Coast. And what happened? Pop Smoke ended up dead. Now, I ain't trying to say that's some kind of conspiracy, and maybe some other shit was going on, or this, that, and the third. But brother, he had that conversation with K. Slay 2 weeks before he was murdered. They didn't want rap to be back on the East Coast.
So what happened next? Pop Smoke was killed. And while no one is saying this proves a conspiracy or that events are directly connected, some people point to troubling coincidences. He reportedly spoke with K. Slay just weeks before his death, And that conversation is often cited by those who believe powerful forces didn't want East Coast rap reclaiming dominance. Still, these are interpretations, not established facts. Ultimately, this story goes far beyond a single documentary or a missing segment. It's about recurring patterns people believe they see, influential figures remaining protected, critical questions left unanswered, and details only surfacing years later, long after the damage is done. Whether you accept these claims or remain skeptical, one point continues to stand out. Jay-Z's complete absence from the documentary was unusual. When nearly everyone else connected to the story is examined and one major name is entirely omitted, it naturally raises questions. With investigations reportedly expanding and more insiders choosing to speak, those questions aren't fading anytime soon. How do you think this story ultimately ends? Share your thoughts in the comments below.